Hello, welcome back, folks, to the second series of the day here at Maincast Winter Brawl, sponsored by GGBet. We are ready to get underway with HellRaisers versus OG Seed. And OG Seed, they have been returned their captain. No-Tail is no longer standing in for these guys. They've got Pexu back in the fold, which, you know, is ups and downs, right, Cap? Like, No-Tail, there is no doubt. You can't argue about the capability of this man. But at the same time, the rest of the team aren't used to playing with No-Tail.
Yeah, this team, by the way, I'm casting because this team is in the tournament. Because this team made playoffs.
That is actually true. You are. So, because, what was it? I think Carl is still at home, and Z-Freak being involved means that Carl can't cast. So, really, Carl missed out on work because of his brother being too good.
Which I'm sure he told Zach that he requires 5% of his TI fees for this.
Of the TI
That's
fees?
what I would negotiate.
All right, we're really
dude,
aiming down the road.
Gotta go in.
I didn't realize you were setting up your own SATO, Cap. Let's go.
I mean, it's his brother. You think he doesn't believe in him?
Believing is one thing, but like I think like it's no longer a matter of questioning the belief when you're taxing the person for you to have that belief, Cap. That's a spin right there. It's like, oh, I totally believe in this this drink here, this beautiful drink. Yeah, but you look at this. You've got shares. $5,000 worth of shares in that drink. Oh, okay. Now it makes sense.
Well, you know, the rich get richer. What happened? All of a sudden,
the rich do get rich.
We're like, okay, Doom picked up, sure. Counter pick, Puck, Disruptor. Yeah, it makes sense. All of a sudden, OG Snap pick, Alchemist. Gracious me.
This is greed to the extreme right now, actually. Like, what else can we add in here that's even more greedy? Anti-mage? No, don't pick that.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, you know, they got a game plan. I haven't seen any Alchemists. Did you see any Alchemists in the group stage? Has OG Seed been picking this?
I think that might have been one game from... I think it was OG Seed who picked it, or it was banned in that game. It's one or the other. Sorry, the ones that stood out was they had a ridiculous performance on Madara playing the PA. I think there was one with Chessie playing the Alchemist, though, in the group stage. But it was, I think it was such a stompy game in general because of everything around the Alchemist, not just because of the Alchemist. So it's one of those deceptive ones, right, where you couldn't truly measure the value of the Alch pick because the other picks around it just made it so good.
So it looks like they've been picking up a lot of Gyrocopter. Wow.
Yeah, there's been a decent amount of Gyro. They get a decent amount of Mag, Viper as well. They'll definitely take Trin if you offer it to them, which will not happen this game.
They last picked Necrophos as well.
Yep, on Chessie.
Maybe I should really pay more attention to this Necrophos. Maybe it's better than I thought it was.
They lost that game, I think. Well, I think they won one and they lost one. So
they must believe in it at least.
I mean, sure, you can believe in anything. Like, you can believe in fairies and unicorns, Cap.
It doesn't mean that they're actually
It doesn't mean that they're going to deliver a game to you, buddy.
Let's see, he went Force Staff, Pipe, Lotus Orb. Okay. The Aghanim Scepter. I played a game of Necrophos. I built Aghanim Scepter, and it felt like utter booty.
I'm trying to think, like, what... Could that be the worst Ags? I think there's worse Ags in the game right now. What is the worst Ags in this game now?
There's definitely worse ones out there.
Yeah. Like Spirit Breakers one is still pretty bad.
Yeah, that one's real terrible.
Anti-Mage is weird as well.
But to tie this back into the draft, Necrophos, percentage-based damage. Percentage-based damage is always good against tanky cores like OG Seed has. One of the advantages OG Seed does have, though, is you see this Doom pickup, doesn't necessarily mean that it's 2 cores, right? This could be a 4-position Doom. It's very easy to run Doom in various roles right now. I've seen him 2, 3, 4. I imagine you could probably do some sort of puppy 5 Doom if you wanted to get really greedy with it.
True. I think they usually take it as the free wherever they can, though, because Jibe loves this hero. I don't think I've seen Z-Freak play much of it, actually. Not in his pub games or, like, competitively, quite a while.
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I've got this feeling they're going to try and pivot this as a core Doom as hard as possible.
So the early SF pickup, that's interesting because they did have last pick, right? So normally you would expect your mid to fill that role, but they feel this confident about the SF because it's very good against both these heroes. The current Shadow Fiend does an insane amount of physical damage when you build him with this like early dataless pickup that a lot of people are doing. All you need is levels, a basic amount of stats, and dataless, and you hit like a truck. And both Alchemist and Doom are very susceptible to that. Alchemist has very low armor until he finally picks up an AC or a Shiva's, which is, oftentimes quite delayed. And he's very susceptible to burst damage in general, and Doom is also crushed by physical damage. So
Yeah, Doom not really a hero that gets any armor until later in the game, where maybe goes to like an AC or Shivas, but we don't really see them often these days. Usually it's like drums, Vlads, BKB, Blink Dagger. These are the items that get the highest priority on him.
okay, and no surprise, there is like another part of the reason that it was surprising to see their mid picked up so early is the fact that Alchemist is very likely side lane. So they didn't know their mid matchup. I have seen side lane SF though. That I've seen that happen. I don't know if it's good.
Did you
but
win,
I've seen it
Cal?
happen.
Don't try and shoot. Did it win?
5 seconds
No, I don't know if it won actually.
All right, you just tuned out and you're like, okay, he's losing the lane already, so he's probably.
I mean, all I know is I saw it in a couple different like high level pubs, and I was just
Yeah.
like, what the hell? But I didn't stay tuned in because it had a side lane SF, so I didn't want to watch that garbage.
If you had, you would have seen that it was a support SF. Now, in fairness,
I actually would have really liked Slaughter here until the TA pickup. It's still okay, but I think it's similar to what Venge SF gives you. In that minus armor opportunity, it really screws Alk in lane, as well as Doom.
No, it's the fair shout. I think what HellRaisers need, they could like leverage into more minus armor, but right now they need someone that hits buildings with the SF. I really like these combos like Lone Druid or trying to think what the other Lifestealer was working as well. These heroes that can go and utilize your level 15 talent very well, where you actually get presence of the Dark Lord on the buildings. This hero
Okay,
gets
they're
physical.
gonna stick with 3-position Puck, and Puck Tusk is pretty terrifying duo. That will be able to put a lot of pressure on the Alchemist. They need something that I wouldn't be opposed to Winter Wyvern. I think
10 seconds
that
remaining.
support against Puck doesn't feel the best in the world, but it's still pretty good.
5 seconds remaining.
And I think you just need like a really lane dominant support.
I think the other thing as well is like anytime you get Puck, it's really good to have these heroes like Tusk or Doom on the other side that can just instantly close the gap. I like the Wyvern always in response though, because if you look at HellRaisers, they are pretty heavy on the physical. It's not a free Wyvern Cold Embrace game, but especially early on the lane, it could save a life or two.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the heroes I like here? I like it could be a good Bloodseeker game for HellRaiser's last pick. I guess I should focus more on OG Seed and what they need.
They do have the immediate pick coming up, so it would be a
Yeah.
safe bet. Omni Knight does get banned out.
So you can believe me if you want, but I was gonna say Omni Knight or Abaddon in one of those like defensive style heroes, because you just want to try and make these heroes a little bit tankier.
Well, luckily HellRaisers have
Unfortunately,
been
both of
removed
them
from
are
this.
banned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
So if I can't get one of those and I don't feel great about
5 seconds
Legion,
remaining.
then maybe I stick with Doom Core and I run.
Doom Core. You know, I wonder if like something like Lifesteal still works for HellRaisers if they leave this Doom as a core. There is a lot of kill potential at that point.
I think Lifestealer is a really good 2 to run with SF, but I'm not sure if I like it against Winter Wyvern and TA.
Yeah, that's true. I think the bigger concern is if Doom does find the crit wolf, then he just wins his lane by default if you're a Lifestealer as well. Because you can't out heal. As you are now no longer Lifestealer, you are Life Fabricator. seems like a more appropriate name, as you no longer really bother these strength cores. Hey, you know, that's the true thing about this patch, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's the patch of neutral arms, patch outposts. No, it's a patch of fabrication. Medusa no longer steals mana, all right? And now Lifestealer no longer steals health. He's a complete hypocrite. His name makes literally no sense anymore. He's a life borrower. I don't know. Darkseer, though.
Darkseer, huh? I've seen this hero picked up more and more.
I like what they do.
Not sure if I totally believe in it. But...
Really? Do you not like the idea of the Doom with Scorched Earth, Iron Shell? I feel like you just kill anyone on that lane now.
Yeah. That lane's gonna be very good.
Yeah.
I kind of like. So you can go for range core, gyrocopter. Ah, damn, that's bad. Razor is the other one that comes to mind. Don't think you can run Bloodseeker anymore. That's definitely a no. Classic. Really?
Definitely a no. They're like, nope, we're gonna do it. I mean, it's good against the Surge Retreat, but I feel like he's just gonna get the crap kicked out of him on the lane.
I thought Bloodseeker was really good seeing the first 4 heroes of this game, but I'm scared of him getting bodied too hard in his lane. Because I don't think part of the reasoning here is that I would normally say, okay, just defensive tri-lane and you could just win this game. But I think you really want to pressure the Alchemist, right? So you're kind of stuck, in my opinion, in running Puck Tusk together. So with only 1-5 position to help you out, and that being Disruptor, who's a good laner but doesn't provide you any saving mechanisms, like Bloodseeker is going to feel very pressured by Doom Darkseer. Maybe it was too good of a game to ignore, but I could see this laning phase going terribly for Elmo.
I feel like Vampire has to do so much this game, right? Like we mentioned, he has to be the Puck to get maximum impact. You can probably win that lane, but then he needs to have an impact at mid. Because if you leave the Shadow Fiend and the TA in a vacuum, this TA is absolutely content with how the game goes.
Yeah. OG Seed, they have the potential to win all 3 lanes here, right? Because they're going to win the TA versus SF matchup. They can obviously win top lane, the Darkseer plus Iron Shell plus Scorched Earth. There's a lot of damage over time and chase. And then bottom lane, like all you need to do to win that lane is just not die as Madara. And I think it is surprisingly hard, not for pro players, but in general, like even at the high level, it's surprisingly hard to fight into Acid Spray.
Yeah, especially as a Puck.
It's actually how that ability just can win you the lane as an alchemist, where winning the lane should be the last thing that's possible for you.
Well, they're gonna have to figure someone out. I think, as I said, Tusk, he's gonna have his work cut out here. I mean, you know, borrowing a player from Gambit, maybe. He has proven himself a very formidable 4. Maybe he's exactly what they need and you're going to address it. But I feel like if Doom especially just mirrors the movements of Vampire around the map, especially if he gets like an early Wolf or the armor, I'm not sure your Tusk can efficiently gank anywhere at that point. Definitely going to be hard. And look at the odds so far. It kind of represents that, but it is a little bit biased towards OG Seed with double the money to be made if you actually bet on HellRaisers compared to OG Seed.
You know what's kind of cool about OG's aggro dual lane is that it's a pressure lane. What I mean by that is that they're always going to be attacking the core, but also the fact that it's a lane that is going to push in very often. One of the really bad parts about being dire off lane is you have to deal with the Radiant hard camp, and it's very easy to win lanes that you shouldn't as Radiant safe lane because of that hard camp and how easily you can just pull it over. It's very hard to disrupt that. So if it was more of a defensive lane where they try and pull the lane back and just control things, right, by making the distance longer between the creep wave and the tower and just slowly harassing them, they would lose to the hard camp. But here, they've got a very aggressive lineup that is able to push in all the time, and they'll never be able to claim that hard camp usage.
Sure. And at the same time, if the lane was to push in as well, it frees up rotations to occur. So the Doom could, for example, move mid. It's actually a pretty good hero, the Scorched Earth, at the moment for doing that. And then you're just stuck under a tower and you keep your support nearby because you're still a little bit threatened by the Darkseer as a melee hero anyway. Hexu, Has drawn some attention as he did manage to... actually, no, he didn't even get it. Vampire moved across in time, so...
Yeah,
the
OG
beast.
almost got 4 bounties, but some quick clicking by both Vampire and Bao. They were able to win their contest, so nicely done.
Thought I was going to actually be alone up here for the moment. Looks like Z-Freak is going to go ahead and stack that wave.
Yep, it's very critical for OG Seed to get to level 3, which is where Vampire is going to be in this lane, at least at the start. Once you see this pulling shenanigans, though, he's going to feel kind of bad about it. Because, again, he wants to be at the top lane with the puck pressuring that Alchemist. And all this time kind of like feeling like you're wasting. You know, like, oh, the creep wave's eventually going to push in. They're going to get their level 2. Do I stick around here? It all just feels kind of bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bobo's already been forced away, so Madara should be fine early on.
Okay, so not bad options for Z-Freak on his second Devour with the Ogre Frost Mage.
I don't think there's any wolf. Oh, there is a wolf on Radiant side, but he doesn't spot that out. So yeah, you just take the easy option right in front of you, which is Frost Mage. I feel like there's 3 good options right now. It's like Frost Mage, Crit Wolf, and I don't mind Ghost if you also pick up an Oof, because that's a lot of slow at that point, with 25% from the Ghost.
I don't think I've seen that play specifically from 4 position.
No, it's
he does kind of need to give Jibe
the armor,
the early level 3 if possible.
Okay, yeah. Right now he has nothing, by the way, Cap. Okay, there you go. Jibe finally gets his first sliver of XP.
Yeah, don't worry.
Him.
They stack the creeps. They'll push in. Got plenty of experience flowing. You just gotta, be patient.
Move on to Tao, though. They're going to keep the pressure up with the Blood Right, just trying to zone them away. Because Z-Freak did actually take the Devout level 1, he's not able to actually pressure in return. There's no Scorched Earth yet. They say that, however, in the top, Wyvern getting caught out unexpectedly here by Bobo. It's just a solo kill for him.
Huh.
That feels like something you shouldn't see happening often, actually. Bobo doesn't have any mana or HP, so he will die in return. But First Blood playing by the puck. Completely solo, as the side of HellRaisers are fully committed to this tri-lane bot.
I wonder if he's kicking himself for not suiciding to the tier 2 faster. Because now he just gave the experience to the Wyvern. Not the worst thing in the world, though. For First Blood, he goes back in a lane with double null talisman. He's doing very well in CS, actually. I'm surprised how well. Like, yeah, getting the First Blood, that's really cool. But he also is top tier CS. That's honestly just amazing.
Yeah, when you're alone like this, like we mentioned the acid spray should kind of low-key force you out, right? Because the Wyvern will just
yeah, I mean, also like Wyvern just challenging you level 1, right? Like, yeah, even if you just man fight each other for a little while, isn't that time you're not getting CS?
Oh no. I mean, you're right, but it's more brutal for the Darks here. He salved as well and still died to the level 1 Blood Right. I mean, even if you survived that, right? Losing the salve and being stuck there on like 10 HP, I don't know if that would have even been better because it is a Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
But questionable. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Chessie, okay, outplaying on the Shadow Fiend here.
Well, thank God they needed that because losing both your side lanes was not something I expected from OG Seed. I thought they would at least win top lane if they were forced to solo the puck and do this defensive tri-lane. Z-Freak's going to kill Miposhka, maybe? Or maybe not.
No, he moves away. Z-Freak does have level 3 now, so he has the double Scorched Earth.
Yeah, and they're about to get level 3 on the Darkseer. So, your lane, it's tough at the start. Any Darkseer lane is going to be hard until you get level 3. But then all things are forgiven. You get double the Ion Shell damage. Same goes with the Scorched Earth. It's almost double the damage from 1 to 2. So this is going to really big power spike, and that's also about the time that Vampire is going to leave lane, head back up the top. So very, very smart read by Vampire, starting off with the tri-lane and disrupting them as much as he did. He got the Bloodseeker off to a running start. He has almost phase boots plus level 4.
He can walk against them, though. If he finds himself snarl away Blood Rages himself, the Doom can run him down with the Iron Shell, so he does have to be careful about how he plays the lane still. And did go for 2 points in first as opposed to 2 in the Blood Right. So Should be the point at which Zach can just start forcing him off the wave and finally allowing Darkseer to get a little bit of XP and a little bit of gold. You can actually see how he's just making sure that he doesn't shove the lane in as much as possible as well.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You got 2 levels of the passive. Because the lane's going to push into you all the time, right?
Hmm.
And they're going to try and pressure you, so don't you want Blood Right to be able to deal with the creep wave better? Especially securing range creeps?
You'd think so. But I guess maybe his argument is, you know, if you're trading back and forth, the first allows you to run away from the Darkseer Doom combo. Whereas usually they'd be able to just run you down, right?
Yeah.
That might be the play. Especially if you think you can pressure on the other lanes. Like, if you think you can get out low on HP most of the time. But it feels like Bobo is let up on the pressure a little bit. Yeah, he's getting good CS, but he's not really slowing down Madara at all. A little bit concerning at this stage.
He went for a 3rd level of it, too. So this is... He has a game in mind that does not involve maxed out Blood Right.
Come on, Z-Freak. No. Oh. He's going to kick himself in a sec.
Oh.
In fact, that's
Like, if only. If only I checked that medium camp first.
What did he devour? Because he didn't switch.
He devoured the golem before he switched over.
Mine's
just
bugged
to
then
get
because he still has ice armor.
Yeah. He turned off the thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Well, this fight works
They
out.
actually
Ooh.
might be able to get kill here.
Vampire should still go down, but Chessie needs to throw down a trap first. Low come out. He will die for it. They're getting the big kill they were looking for, though.
There are certain heroes that are terrifying with Surge, and Templar Assassin is one of them. Being able to have like that kind of extreme mobility, that's going to be very potent combination later on to the game. They still are like free farming on the Alk, yes, but the Puck, man, top CS of the board, that is just crazy. He's going to have a very fast Blink Dagger at this rate. A little bit surprised he doesn't go for a stat build, but I guess he wants to, you know, have that initiation so they can continue to play fast with this Bloodseeker, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I quite like a Veil or even a Deso if you're continuing at this rate, right? Because it syncs up with your Shadow Fiend well. No one else in your team is going to build that Deso. And it's just a lot of damage against the lineup that doesn't really have any armor. It's a bit surprising.
Yeah. I mean, they also have some okay magic damage as well for like a Veil build. But, you know, I think that all in all, Bao is actually going to be the savior of this whole laning phase. Like, he allowed them to defensively try lane, still won his lane. He just went into the jungle and disrupted Madara's CS. He actually took a decent amount of the medium camp as well. There's no one who can really stand to him very easily.
Ooh. That's an easy little kill in the meantime. But yeah, it's just a
Because
support kill.
otherwise, you've got a TA and an Alchemist that are just getting bigger and bigger, right?
Exactly. You need
That is
someone to
something
cater to that soon.
HellRaisers is definitely going to be worrying about it.
They're trying to apply a little bit of pressure to Alk now as he only has the level 1 Chemical Rage, but he might just die for this. Z-Freak could reach him for the club, but just quick enough with the boots to get away. Chessie has applied a lot of pressure on the mid lane. The Dream Call coming out though. Forced the fight. He still has the DD, so they should be respecting this instead. They want to stand and fight him. They bring 4 heroes here to ensure he goes down easy. They might try and look for more.
Got too greedy. He had that double damage, but he got too greedy. He didn't have a trap set up to be able to see, like, sometimes you'll see TAs ward that kind of jungle area with their traps to see that teleports in. He got too greedy trying to pressure that mid tower and throws away the nice advantage that he got him for himself.
Yeah, it just feels like he's maybe being forced to make plays on the map because right now you got Doom desperately trying to get 6 top. You got Darkseer that really isn't going to be active anytime soon, and your Alk just wants time alone in the jungle. So it feels like it really is on Chessie to try and make some sort of pressure play on the map. But it's kind of easy for HellRaisers to one read and also respond to.
Yeah, like it's so bad for you to throw away that kind of control that you had in the lane because between Doom and Alk, your jungle's already being taken pretty heavily. This TA is not going to be able to fall back on Ancients a whole lot. But Pushka did not glimpse the Doom there.
He still had Scorched Earth is going to be my theory. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Plus, you want him out of this lane so you can easily secure the outpost, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I think with the SF there, they could have just bullied him out pretty easily. But
Yeah.
I guess the heroes are all stacked on the right-hand side of the map.
And there's a big cooldown on the
Madara.
glimpse.
1,000 gold away from the relic. Oh, he did go back for the Veil on Bow, so I'm glad he did that.
Yeah,
That's a much
it
better
bridges.
choice.
It gives them a lot of damage at this stage in the game now. Like, there's not really any hero that can stand up to that damage. It's like, if they want, they could probably make a play on Madara with it, but they'd need +1, and right now SF is pressuring top.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
The odds have literally not changed for this game at all. HellRaisers 2.81, OG Seed 1.4. So everyone's like just
Yeah, I
sitting
don't
here
think,
like, I don't know how this one's gonna go.
I don't think either side has really gotten a huge win out of the laning phase. I think HellRaisers definitely walked away a little bit better for it, but not
Pretty
by
cool.
a massive amount.
They got the tower, so even if Jibei dies, it's not too bad, as long as Peksu doesn't die alongside it. Bobo is hunting though. He did not even use the Veil yet. Glimpse back. Goodbye, wife. Cold embrace. Like, I'm gonna make you work for this.
I love disruptor lineups like this, where I have a very strong like stand and deliver core like Shadow Fiend who could just outright click people, and then I've got 2 aggressive cores that are able to just go and look for fights in Bloodseeker and Puck. It feels so good because the enemy feels pressured all the time. Whenever a fight starts, they feel like they're going to lose that fight, so they start retreating. You always get the +1 kill, so you get a pick plus another, some support or something. That's how these advantages can bleed out.
Yeah. Disruptor feels like one of the more flexible options at the moment. Like, you get your XP pretty quickly, so you get the Static Storm online. You mentioned you can, like, catch people on the retreat. Additional kills are easy. It definitely feels like the go-to 5 that's always available at the moment. Or almost always. And also counters some of your bigger fears, right? Like, I know a lot of people at the start of the patch, they started picking this because they were worried that Io and Tiny were going to return. And it's just a natural counter to that. And just a 5 that, in general, can press all of his spells just before he dies and have an impact. And not be worried about the cooldowns as well. So, he's going to look to press all his spells as they have smoked up and they're on the rotation. Chessie is deep in enemy territory right here. They don't want to breach the high ground. They go deeper. 2 spotted.
This mid tower is more important to take than many other games of Dota right now. We'll talk about why if this smoke doesn't break. Oh,
Phoebe's backing away. They got the winner's curse. Snowball though. Pex makes it up to the high ground. Gold Embrace to buy some time. Glimpse back into the Static Storm. Doom runs into it as well, but they don't want to fight Z-Freak straight up. War's Punch does a lot of damage, but he's still moving forward. One club out, uses the Doom in the end. The Ice Shard's up the high ground though, might keep Tusk alive. Chase in. They've already found the kill into SF on the back line. Chessie having an impact. They will chase forward with the illusion of the SF killing off Vampire as well. 4 dead on the side of HellRaisers.
what a disjointed but massive fight for OG Seed. That was just little pockets of engagements that they just managed to win everything. Chessie with his positioning in the back line with the early pickup of the Blink Dagger rather than the Desolator proves to be a really good choice there, as he's the big reason they're able to get that SF kill. Once they get the SF kill, then the fight just snowballs along because most of the damage is gone from HellRaisers at that point. They don't have their combo of the SF ult plus the coil. That's what a lot of their team fights are going to be based around, and then the coil plus the Bloodright, which was ineffective at being able to kill the Doom, who survived through all of that. So.
Yeah, Z-Freak basically just ran through every spell they had. And it kind of gives you this false sense of confidence that you can take the fight, right? Like, you're seeing him melt in the face of the damage. But great patience as well from Chessie. Like, he just sat around that back line for so long, expecting someone to come through here. Because you don't... It's not necessarily like you expect this smoke rotation. It's more that this is the jungle area, and you expect someone to come through and try and farm at this point, right?
Yeah.
Able to punish them to the maximum effect. Then you got to look and see, can HellRaisers make a play soon? Like, what other items? They're rushing a BKB on the SF. But I'm still looking at this Puck. He'll have the Blink Dagger soon. And it still feels like it's Puck's job to now kind of carry the next 5-10 minutes still. But I don't know if you can take 5-on-5 engagements right now. It's the awkward part for HellRaisers.
Yeah, you won't be able to once Madara has his BKB, which is closing in really fast. You have some ways to deal with him, the physical damage of SF and the rupture from Bloodseeker, but I think it's going to be too hard to fight into normally. You're going to need like either a really advantageous initiation or more likely picks. Which is kind of sad.
Oh.
HellRaisers are going to miss their timing. They're just going to get run over a lot of times.
Yeah, Vampire might be a casualty of war here. Gets out the blood right in time. Elmo is hunting, though. Looking for a good target. Oh, Dream Calling free. When his curse comes out, though, and they can just stand there and watch. It's Bobo. Can't do anything. Requiem is going to come out now, maybe a little bit too late, so it won't snap a call. Doom will go down in the meantime, and, well, it looks like Pexel will join him. The Rupture is there, but there'll be a TP away by Chessie. Jibe is left behind to die. Tries to drag them all into the acid spray, but they don't care. They get themselves a triple kill. Some much-needed gold on their course.
Nice. Good job, OG Seed. I was a little bit concerned that that one team fight was so bad that this game was going to start snowballing really, really hard. But good job by OG Seed making this game a lot more interesting for me by like throwing a team fight into the funnel of death. What did I say earlier about the series? Like, don't fight into the funnel. It's so hard. It's so hard to take team fights. You're on a low ground. You're in a short little space. It's this giant funnel of death. Don't fight in that area under no circumstances. I was looking at that going like before that fight started. I was like, OG Seed, you're like in a terrible part of the map. You're like next to this shrine. You're in this funnel area. You're giving it the high ground. Like this is terrible. And sure enough, the puck hits just a beautiful Dream Coil to start all of that off.
Yeah, and the winner's curse, it looks like it buys them enough time because you don't get the Requiem snap, right? But at that point, Bloodseeker is just standing there. That Blood Right does a lot of damage to this many clustered heroes. He gets the movement to just keep moving around rapidly. You're not really that tanky still on the side of OG Seed, right? Like the Wyvern, susceptible. The Doom, that yes, he does have this ice armor, but is still a low armor hero. It's a little bit worrying that they... okay, let's look at it this way, right? You always have this fight happen, right, Cap, where the team, they get a bit overconfident, but then they reset. This should be the moment where they realize they can't do things. However, they are moving into the choke points again.
Well, I mean, to be fair, OG Seed's looking at this and saying, we're so strong right now. And they are, just as long as they don't take, like, literally the worst fight that they could. Like, HellRaisers, they're the ones who can't be too overconfident. Just because they won one team fight doesn't mean a whole lot. Until they have BKB on Elmo, once they have that, then the game becomes a little bit easier because then they're able to, like, just rupture the Alchemist and challenge him with a BKB of their own. But until that point, Alchemist's BKB, when they put, like, Surge on him, plus the Ion Shell, and he runs at you like a golden god, like, nobody can stand up to that.
Yeah.
So the HR just needs to be careful. Find picks like this. Great pick off on Jibe.
Jibe is kind of in the sacrificial lamb up at this point. In fairness, though, it's always that issue. When you make a play like that, is the Alk still farming? That's always the concern. If he comes here and dies now, however, this is perfect. But you do not have the static storm anymore. You need to get everyone out.
Yeah, great job. Like, you used your abilities and farm your way back.
Well, it turns out OG Seed might just
That's
farm
fine.
you. And, oh, that glimpse, that was not the communication needed. As Tuskful going towards his death. Hemorrhage is a kill. Won't be able to find more, though. So at least you get your other heroes out. You do get the BKB now completed on FN.
Yeah, no, that was perfectly acceptable. That's exactly what HellRaisers needed to do. Not get overly greedy, start farming your way backwards. You've already created a lot of space for Elmo to be able to play that. OG Seed, understandably, feels a little bit under pressure. Just one little pick off like that, and they can do Roshan because they do have Deso plus Acid Spray, so much minus armor. So that's going to be another peak where HellRaisers, again, should not try and be fighting into OG Seed too much. Just continue to go for these picks, continue to outmaneuver them as much as possible. You're going to hit a really good mid-game window when you have this BKB. So just wait for the Aegis to fall, pick up your BKB. That's the point where you're going to look to fight.
Yeah, preferably you want to wait for this double power spike. I think that's what like a lot more teams are doing, right? Instead of going, oh yeah, you have a BKB, you can play around it. When you get a situation where like Bloodseeker and SF both have those 10-second BKBs, you should most definitely be able to take a convincing victory against OG Seed. As long as they don't mirror that kind of matchup. You can already see the BKB queued up for Chessie much further away. Madara's got a long... Well, actually, no, he's pretty close on the AC. Should be a decent power spike for this lineup. They have a lot of damage on this TA alone. It would be nice if Z-Freak could get a little bit more farm priority so you can get to maybe like a Blink Dagger at this stage in the game would be really good. Just maybe switch over to the Stomp.
I'm laughing because of Nether Shawl. It's just one of those items that you so very often it's picked up, and like you feel like tier 2 items. Like tier 2 items are almost always good. They're almost always they can be used on people, right? Like even the worst ones like Essence Ring and like Clumsy Net can be a little hit or miss. It's like all good, but Nether Shell is like the one tier 2 item that sometimes nobody wants that item. Everyone's just like, -3 armor though against a physical damage lineup. Like, do I really want that? Like, the only reason you'd be taking it is for the 8% spell damage.
No, that's fair. And at least with something like the net, right? Like people kind of meme on the clumsy net, but it's 2 mana regen, right? It's got that element where it's like, well, actually, some heroes would love to have access to 2 mana regen at that stage of the game. And they're never sure. I love it when it's like Venom answer.
Yeah.
Give it a Venom. It's like, well, I have no if I have no armor, I'm just gonna die before I get impact out of this anyway.
Yeah, no support's gonna complain about like getting another disable, even if it's a wonky one to try and use. Oh hey, I forgot about this, but Scorched Earth plus the percentage-based movement speed. And then...
Okay, he gets the kill. He dies for it though. That was. Sorry, continue a thought. That was just an amusing death to me. He's like, he just glimpses him back and literally stands next to him. Although it looks like there's more going on. His Tusk is going to be brought down. Winter's Curse.
Oh,
Bobo.
nice. Winter's Curse.
Doom.
Just doom him.
Easy kill for them.
I
How you liking
love
that
Doom
never sure
Wyvern.
now? Doom Wyvern and the Darkseer on top.
Get the
Does this
curse!
get caught? He gets it.
Nice. Value.
I might go down, but I go down, sinking to the ground, my middle finger up at you guys. Madara's hunting. Miposhka
Very.
stuns him together. This is one that's most like, please, just let me out. He gets away with it. He just casually, it's like, all right, you walk this way, I'll walk. You can have my tower. Just please leave me be.
Alright, well, OG Seed, despite the pickoff on Chessie, that's 2 deaths now that were his only 2 deaths, and they were very bad ones. But OG Seed's still doing a good job of taking map control. They've now taken every single outer tower. Very nice systematic plays by them. If they could just limit some of the bad fights, then they would have like a 12k gold lead, and it would feel like one of those inevitable victories, But some of these pickoffs that HellRaisers are working for. They have been doing like a very nice job of like split pushing a decent amount and then grouping up at the right times like they did at top lane, getting the Darkseer, then backing up. Like they've been working for these picks for sure, but OG Seed has also been giving it to them a little bit too much.
Well, they're going to try and give back now. They're smoking out of the base. They are just shy of having the Spirit Vessel and Tusk, though, so they may have done this a little bit prematurely. Waiting for Bobo. Try and make his escape. Goes a little bit too early on this. He'll dodge out, but Chessie is waiting for the one hit. Nice blink away, though. They chase in. Z-Freak does see him, as they do have that high ground ward. Now the wraparound in the back. They'll find a kill in the Pexu. Or that's a freebie. Vacuum looks beautiful, though. Jumping. Static Storm as well. Poshka trying to protect himself, but the BKB Madara doesn't care. They recommend to scare away Shiba. He's slowly killing himself off, but the Rupture is not good enough, and Elmo has to just TP away. Not enough damage to kill. Oh, there is? What? All right. They got enough minus armor in the end. Bloodseeker brought down his own TP away. It looked like a good escape. Close but no cigar, and all of a sudden you're back in your base. After an ambitious smoke play, HellRaisers achieved nothing with it.
Yeah, the Rupture on Darkseer, it's like you could totally understand why they thought they were turning 1 pick into 2 while everyone was chasing Puck, but as soon as they use Rupture, they don't have a way to be able to limit Madara or Chessie at all. Both those heroes will just run at you, and nobody can fight them back, so... But yeah, what I was going to say is, like, look how fast Z-Freak moves when he gets surged, because he has Scorched Earth increasing in movement speed as well.
And Fade Approach as well, with phase boots. It's pretty dirty. Who needs drums
so
this game?
He gets like 100% movement speed buff or something.
Pretty ludicrous, and so is the speed at which they take buildings. As one lane is already gone for HellRaisers. They're at that critical point. You make one more mistake, like that last fight, and it's just game.
Oh.
And they need time as well, because you look at Park, he's desperately trying to farm up the most important item for HellRaisers right now. They need a means to deal with these BKBs. Dreamcool Ags would be it. It's just by the time you have that, OGC probably have another round of items now. In fact, they're moving quicker than you'd like. Limiting your farm even more.
Abyssal Blade almost up. I hate that item right now.
It's so good.
That item makes me so mad. Why? Why did it need a blink?
Because you know how everyone was like, yeah, this Sven Ags will be good. Then everyone realized that all the other heroes basically get Sven Ags built into Abyssal now, and we didn't want Sven to have an unfair advantage, Cap. All right.
Dude, it's like the puck buff.
Yes, it just made no sense.
Yeah, this ability or this item is already strong, but let's go ahead and buff it up some more. Like, nobody's like, oh man, a BKB piercing disable. That's so bad, you know? Like, nobody says that.
But well gone.
And yet for some reason, Icefrog's like, I gotta give it a blink too.
Like, well, the other really weird part is that they were already, like, he was clearly already pivoting to try and make melee cores even better, even though they were quite popular, right? Because if you think about the Skadi change, where it's like, you don't want to be a ranged hero against the Skadi. That is so painful right now with the additional slot. But then they added in the Abyssal as well. It's like, we were already in a meta that was, other than Gyro, pretty good for melee cores. But okay.
Yeah. Passive Stout Shield as well means that, like, melee cores not only have that Stout Shield, but then they have the Ring of Protection as well. So they're a lot tankier in lane. All these, like, movement speeds in general. It's been all the buffs over the last, like, 2 years of movement speed have been good for melee cores.
Still, melee support's something a little bit harder to pull off at the moment. Oh, Spirit still not seeing a return to competitive. Dara
True.
doesn't even care right now. Like, wait until the Sans is gone. I'll just hit R. Doesn't even need it right now because they have the Cold Embrace.
They've almost got Solar Crest for him too, so he's gonna ignore the Bloodseeker's damage entirely because of all this armor. He can stand still during Rupture because he has BKB for 9 seconds.
Or you could jump a short distance and kill someone immediately with Abyssal.
Yeah, I don't know how HellRaisers wins this next fight. But at the same time, you can't go 2 lanes of racks down because then that feels like you're just inevitably going to get mega.
No, more importantly, you're 1 lane down and you're not getting out your base as it is. If you go 2 lanes down, you're always going to be looking back at your base. And then it's just a matter of how many Roches does OG Seed need to win. You definitely want to try and stem the bleeding right now, and that Ags is still just under 1,000 gold away.
Yeah, they just have no, like, once the BKBs are up, they have no blink stunner to keep people from using BKBs, right? Like, because they led with this core puck, which, again, Bao did very well for himself, but OGC just got too much out of the map, got their items too quickly.
Even Jibe, who suffered a lot, is now sitting 5th on the net worth chart. And he has the relevant items to ensure that you can't even get a quick burst kill, right? The pipe with the mech. Even the essence ring on himself to ensure he's not the entry kill.
Oh, just a pick off like this would be really big.
Jibe, Cold Embrace, buys some time though. And all of a sudden you want to retreat. The Witness Curse comes out. Seafreak jumps in with the Doom straight away though. Bloodseeker is stuck here, trying to run away. They'll clean up his sister in Vampire, who will buy some time with the snowball, but they're still hunting. Bloodseeker's just dead. Will be brought down. Does have buyback. Vampire will be brought down as well, and also has the buyback. So it's not the end of the world. But once again, HellRaisers just reminded they're not allowed outside this base. Not without OG Seed's permission. In fact, they might not even be allowed in the base. As OG Seed are heading for the high ground. Buyback's going to come out from Tusk straight away. Bloodseeker holding on to it, but what are you waiting for, really? Queen call. There it is. BKB though, snaps. Oh, he didn't check for the Axe, in a little bit of trouble. The Requiem coming through, but they've got the BKBs running. Madara stands his ground. No Chemical Rage for 15, however, needs to back away. And Elmo, no first to work with. Everyone's pretty healthy right now, and Z-Freak might just turn around him. The Stomp off the mark, able to move away in time. But after that reset, you have to think, who is stronger without BKBs? And without the Dream Cool, it definitely feels like OG Seed aren't really threatened now.
Yeah, they've got Chemical Rage back up for Madara, so he's just going to go in.
It's almost good, but now the Abyssal jump in. Disrupt is just gone. No Static Storm for him. Buyback comes out. Spirit Vessel is on Madari. Doesn't have the BKB. Cold Embrace will heal him up, and it looks like Tusk is going to go down. FN chased onto. One more hit will fell him, but no, the evasion works for him. Chessie will be glimpsed back into the Static Storm. Do they really want to commit on him, though, right now? If they're going too hard, they will pay a price. Cold Embrace is available in 1 second. There it is. We'll heal him up again. Madara doesn't have the Abyssal for 10. Vacuum in. When his ghost out, Bobo's gone. Killed by his own teammates, and they'll go back to hitting the buildings. Madara does have Chemical Rage in 15. Small window of opportunity, but HellRaisers not able to capitalize anymore now that they don't have the Static Storm. Looks like OGC might just rinse the base. Glimpse, say Madara, please stay away from our buildings, but there's no way you hit him right now. In fact, you have to run away because he's chasing in. Abyssal forward, and Disruptor's gone. 60 seconds to the sideline. No way to get involved again. The Chemical Rage, this is going to be mega creeps. And I'm not even sure. I mean, you could leave now and just go get Roche, but they might just hunt for more. Moving in. Z-Freak, nice stun coming in. Blood right to try and save the day, but activating the BKB allows them to kill off the SF. The bash out and Elmo's dead as well. And this is just looking like a just call it moment. There it is. GG comes out. OG Seed take game 1. My oh my, did they look dominant in that mid game and then beyond.
Just been replaying back the game in my head over the last like 2 minutes, and I just like I remember walking away and going like, damn, like this puck did a lot. Obviously he can't kill the Alk, but like he did a nice job getting farm for himself. He took away some of his jungle. He pressured the lane really nicely, so when Alk was gone, you know, you're hitting that tower and stuff. And then like he did his job, but then nobody else really tried to hunt down this alchemist. Like he freely got his radiance timing and he freely got his BKB timing. I don't really remember a good kill that ever happened on him. And again, like OG Seed even gave them opportunities back into the game off of like some really bad fights. But the Bloodseeker especially did not feel very involved. You know, he never got one of those early ruptures on the Alk and allowed the team to kind of run at that hero. He just kind of was always free to play his game.
Yeah, it's one of those classic Alk games, right? It's like, oh, you find these pickoffs elsewhere, but the Alk is always farming. And we mentioned early on, you know, Bobo was interrupting his farm. He was taking some of it away, but it never escalated for him beyond that point. He was just able to dodge out any fight. They were maybe a little bit over-fixated on shutting down Jibe and making sure Darkseer didn't have a game. But it's a Darkseer. He's always eventually going to farm up. And the items he's going to get are always going to have relevance, right? The pipes and the solar crest that he's building into and these GGs. It's not like killing him in the lane kills his game entirely.
Yeah. I think OG set themselves up nicely with this, both the Darkseer, but I think the Winter Wyvern was especially really good here. Because those are two different heroes that push out lanes really well for you and still offer a strong team fight. Right? So they're able to create the space, and even if they do suffer, it doesn't really matter too much because Vacuum and Wall of Replica and Winter's Curse, those abilities are still going to be the same effectiveness in team fights, no matter how much farm you have or don't have. So those two of them were able to create a lot of space, and that's where, you know, Madara felt totally unpressured, 0 deaths. Chessie, 2 deaths, both of which you could probably say are in his own fault, honestly. He did a good job playing aggressively, and he just tripped up 2 different times, but like none of that was HellRaisers. They were taking advantage of a mistake. They weren't necessarily setting the tempo of this game ever.
No, they never felt like they were able to flip an objective off the back of like a good kill like that, right? Like even when you caught Chessie out in the river, it's like immediately it gets punished and immediately you're on the back foot again.
This does not feel like a team that can beat Alchemist lineups very easily.
No.
HellRaisers, just watching them play this game, not their draft, but their team as a whole, they did not attack OG Seed as well as they need to beat Alchemist lineups. So I would like to see them maybe secure themselves a better late game than OG Seed going into game 2 and see how that feels. Like maybe they're just a team that will play defensively because they did take advantage of mistakes, right? The high ground fight on the triangle, the mid lane catch on Chessie, like they defensively played all right, you know? So maybe that'll feel better for them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely feels like a team that would target whatever was shown on the map, right? But then at the same time, they're targeting the wrong people. It's one of those classic examples. We see heroes that change the way you kind of have to think about the game, where it's like techies. Alk is one of those heroes as well. So maybe ban out the Alk, try and force OGC to keep it a bit more standardized in the way you can approach your game, and then go from there. Because they had a good start. This was by no means completely from the start to finish a one-sided affair. But HellRaisers, going to game 2, definitely a thing to look at is how they transition their laning phase into mid-game aggression, or give themselves a backup plan. And we'll figure out if they can do that in a few minutes. So we're going to go short break, get your bets in, and then we'll be back for game number 2 between HellRaisers and OG Seed.